Andrew McDevitt, what's happening, man?
Yeah,
Getting
busy.
Done. Yeah, cool. It's always weird, hey, we were just saying, like, we were talking about like some really good stuff in regards to your business, and then we're like, oh, let's save it for the potty, you know, so. Yeah. But I wanted to get you on, man, to talk a little bit about your business, because like, for me, in the Northern Territory, obviously I order meals through you, it's called STEDI, if you're not aware of it. This is Andrew, Director of STEDI Meals, and provides pretty much meals to the fitness industry here in the Northern Territory. And man, like I've been blown away by the quality of it, hey, like it actually is so easy to eat now. Like usually like eating healthy is like a bit of a chore for me. And I'm like, oh, this isn't real fun. But because you're so disciplined in your nutrition for so long, you've just like tweaked it to a point you're like, oh, I know what I like and I know how to sort of make it, I guess, easier to stay consistent, which has always been your goal. So yeah, tell us a little bit about STEDI, how it come about and all that, man.
Yeah, well, I guess that you said it there pretty much. The main goal there is consistency. If you can get there quicker, that's great. Yeah. But the main thing is you want to stay there. You not go up and down. So if you can get at least the nutrition or even your routine consistent, that's the goal. And so yeah, the meals sort of started. I had a mate who's a chef. He runs a restaurant, D&K, and I asked him to cook some meals for me. And I just said, look, I want this much chicken, this much rice, and if you can chuck a flavour in there so it's not boring, that would be good. Yeah. And so he did that for me, and they were good. Yeah. I'm like, oh, okay, man, this is great. So now I don't have to cook my meals. I know exactly how much is in there. Yeah. And now my eating's consistent. Yeah. And then I thought, man, you know what? I think a lot of other people could benefit from this. And so, yeah, I asked him, what if we cooked more? And I started offering it out for other people to buy. Yeah. And then that's when the whole thing sort of started, and now I sometimes go, why did I do that, Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I mean, it is something that I think can help a lot of people with that, and especially with convenience. Yeah. It can save people a lot of time, and also that there's less to have to think about because set up for you already,
So you, like, obviously you've been doing, for people who don't know Andrew, like you've been a bodybuilder, you've been a gym owner, you've done a lot of things, man, and you're like a real, like, out of my circle, you're probably one of the most disciplined people I know around like a certain area in their life, and also very humble, man. You're a real easy dude to get along with. But with your meals, you would have, like, you've been doing this thing for so long now. Like, I remember you were so good at your meals, you could fit blocks of chocolate in at night and still stay, you know what I mean? Like, ever since I've known you, you've had like an amazing body and just had like in such good, shape. But like, there must have been options there, right? So like, what was the reason for wanting to, contact D&K and say, hey, can you do it for me? Because there was already, I guess, some options available for like, meals and stuff. What was the motivation to try and get him to do it?
Well, I trusted him, and we were training together. Yeah. So it'd be something we would talk about a lot in terms of helping him as well with his nutrition. And then, so I sort of went, all right, well, look, I don't really have a lot of time to cook my own meals, which I was previously, cooking my own meals. And I've got a mate who's a chef. So
jackpot. Yeah,
let's I'm going to pay you for some meals. Yeah. And then I just need it to these calories and macros, and they're just for me. And it worked. So then I've got another issue where I just go, okay, well, I think, let's see if it will help other people. Yeah, and it did. And it took off. Yeah. And I mean, and so much so that now I've had to move the operation to a bigger kitchen.
That's full on.
Get more staff. Yeah, because now I'm starting to sort out deliveries and everything, and
that's cool.
Yeah,
yeah. So yeah, those initial stages, like, because we sort of brush past, like, now it's like flying. You've got heaps of people on. Even where we shoot the podcast, we're in a house with 3 lads, and they probably order like 100 meals a week or something. Yeah, they're big boys. So like that, but there was stepping stones from there, right? Because like I remember chatting to you, and we did that little video not long ago actually. We might tag it on this video where you did a bit of a tour of the kitchen, and we went through your process process and stuff. And the thing that I liked about you is because you'd owned companies before, you're very solution driven. You were like, if something wasn't right, you would just be like, jump straight on it. You're like, okay, now we need to fix this.
Yeah.
And the big thing that I liked about it was fresh meals. You were like, you had a real focus on making sure the quality is there for food.
Yeah.
Because food was really important for you as well for your training and stuff. So that we went through that machine. I can't remember the name of it, but like, tell us a little bit about the process of the food and things like that.
Yeah, so I guess from where it started was, you just sort of getting food out. And the main focus for me was that I needed enough meals for the week, and I wanted them to taste half good, but mainly to have the right calories.
Yeah.
So then we worked out, if I'm going to do this in bulk, I'm going to need sort of a quicker system. And then also I went, all right, well, there's steps I could take, but I wanted to have a look, what's the end step? Just how far am I away from that? And that was the machine.
Yeah.
And it's called a matte tray sealing machine, which is modified air packaging. And
that would have been a jump when you're ordering that, hey? Like a lot of research. You're like, I don't know how this is going to go.
And I guess, it was going to save me time if I did get it initially anyway. So there was other benefits than just sort of skipping steps. And even then now I've learned a few things about the machine, and, it actually costs a lot more than I thought it would, and also to run it and everything.
You always figure that after you started.
But I guess the thing was, like if I'm going to do it, I want to try to, give it a good shot. And this would actually help with keeping the meals fresh. Yeah. You don't have to freeze them, within the week. So you can order every week. You won't have to freeze the meals. So now the meals are going to taste better. Yeah. And all of these factors will add up to how consistent someone can be with their nutrition. Yeah. So I think when I considered all those factors, it was important for that machine to come in, and then that would be sort of how I brand the meals. Yeah. Because I can say you don't need to freeze them. Yeah. And then now it's kind of we're set up sort of a production line for the meals, while we're still trying to keep the meals as fresh as possible. Not only with the ingredients when we cook, but also using the machine as well. Yeah. And even moving forward, there's other things I can do to even get it fresher by getting, let's say, specialty ingredients. I have met a guy now. His name's Uncle Robbie. He was on MasterChef. Oh yeah, cool. And he has access to like crocodile and a lot like all kinds of stuff. Well, like ordering it or whatever. Or sourcing it. Yeah, really, sourcing it. Yeah. So he knows all the suppliers and all that. Just literally from his property. Yeah. What? No. Yeah. So he has. He's telling me about all the stuff he can get and how he wants to showcase the territory. Yeah, that's cool. And because he's a chef. Yeah. And he really just cooks for passion. Yeah. And and so he's telling me, oh man, these crocodile burgers are going to be so good, and there's these special recipe that he has. He wants me to try, and so they'd be pretty high in protein, are they, crocodile, or what? They sort of like chicken or something, or are they? Yeah, apparently, yeah. Are they? Yeah. Because I've had crocodile before, and I actually didn't mind it. Yeah. Then I was like chatting to some other people, they're like, nah, that's a bit rough. Like I'm like, I liked it. So it's but it's more I guess bringing another thing in. So we've already got the meals. Someone can be consistent. They're going to taste good. They're going to be fresh. What else can I do? Yeah. And this is kind of not only just adding a point of difference, but I mean, imagine having your meal prep, and if we compare it to a stereotypical meal prep for someone, chicken, rice, broccoli, or beef mince and rice, and and then you got someone on STEDI Meals and they're having crocodile patties and so cool. And still hitting the calories, still getting the freshness, point of difference, it might be a seasonal thing. This sort of creates another dynamic that you're not going to get just from doing that yourself or getting it from Woolies or wherever. I've actually got a bit of a request for you. I'd love for it if you did jerky. I don't know how popular that would be, but jerky is just such a high protein snack that you can just get in real quick. And man, if you had some nice jerky packets or something, I've got so good. A contact already for that. Oh, have you? And I actually had some sample yesterday. Oh, no way. So that's interesting. I just think for the junkies, gym junkies that are trying to keep the calories off, jerky is such a good option, eh? Yeah. Especially you get a little bit of fat in it as well, keep your energy going on that. Yeah, well, I mean, I did a program for someone just on jerky for... like carnivore or something? No, the issue with them was they were out bush a lot. Yeah. And so they didn't always have like a fridge they didn't always have cooking things. So a lot of their protein came from jerky.
That's cool.
Yeah, and it works because it's available.
Yeah.
You just have it sealed in a bag.
Yeah.
And so it's useful. It's useful, man. You know.
Yeah.
So and if it tastes good, you can hit your protein.
Yeah, because I feel like the ones that I have like the ones from Woolies, and they're not too bad, but they're not like, I wouldn't say like, they're not fresh. You know how some people have their jerky and it's like it's almost like tender. Like I don't know. Yeah, it's just like
this one I've got.
Succulent.
Like, it's really good, and they have a milder version and a spicy version.
Ooh, yeah.
And so that's a good idea. I didn't really think about it like that.
Yeah.
But now that you mention it, and now that I have that contact, it could be coming soon, man.
Yeah, so cool. And I feel like it's probably one of those things that I guess process-wise would probably be easier than your other stuff, you know?
Yeah, I'm not sure the process, but that would be something I could do in collaboration, I think. You know, because if there's already someone who's an expert at it, I'll just work with them.
Seriously. Yeah.
And that would be ideal. Get an expert, you know?
Yeah, it's so cool. Yeah. No, I mean, I honestly just I think it's so cool that you jumped into a space that you totally had no idea. That's the thing I liked about it. But what I was saying in the last video we did together, I think that's what makes it so good, because you just have no preconceived ideas how things should be done. Yes, there might be some areas that you can improve on because you've never done it before, but you're looking at from like, you're in the same building, but you've got a different view of it. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So it's just being from the fitness industry, you're coming very from a user point of view rather than like a cooking, like a chef point of view. Whereas from what I've seen with other companies, people like become the chef first and then do the meals, rather than being the consumer first, then being the meal person, you know? So I think that's such an awesome thing for you, man. So how, like, you don't have to go into exact numbers, but like, how many people are you supplying now? Because it feels like every time I jump on Instagram, I already think they're like, got my meals through STEDI, got my meals through. So there's so many people now.
Yeah, we've got it's definitely growing. So like right now we're usually like around 500 meals a week. Yeah. And that's just for like residential customers. Then we also stock Arc Fitness as a retailer, World Gym Casuarina, the new one that just reopened, I should say. Yeah. And then we're working on some other, I guess, collaborations with people that go out to communities. Yeah. And they go out and they would normally have to cook once they've finished work. Yeah. And so this is just going to save them a lot more time. And then they can just bring it along. They've usually got a fridge and stuff out there. Yeah. So I think right now it's about 500 meals.
That's mental,
a week. Yeah. Well, it is from where we started.
That's what I mean. That's just so quick.
But I think the goal would be, by the end of this year, be 2,000 a week. Whoa. And not only that, like what I've noticed with a lot of our customers is that they don't necessarily order every week. We have a big portion that does, but they'll order maybe every second week. Oh yeah. And one thing I think that happens is you get motivated to cook as well. You know? And so if because I think that's probably the freshest meal you're ever going to get. And there is some satisfaction in doing your own meal prep and eating it, and you had a good week.
I have no satisfaction in that at all, man. Like, you can keep that side.
Well, it's I guess I've experienced that.
Some people,
and I've cooked it. Like one I did was like a Big Mac flavored beef and potato.
Really?
Meal.
Oh, you cooked it.
I cooked it. Yeah, and I had that for the whole week, and I was like, oh yeah, man, that's good. But the next week I'm like, I got to cook it again. Yeah. So that's something I can bring out. But I guess, so I'm seeing people, we were at a level there at the start where if they didn't order one week, I'd be worried. Was everything okay?
Yeah, you're checking in, what's going on?
Hey, is everything all right, But now it's kind of at that point where I'd love to be able to do that still. Yeah. And I have kind of like personal conversations with a lot of our customers already, just from how we started. But now, if that person didn't order, someone else ordered, or there's a new customer ordering. So it's slowly just growing. And I think the customer doesn't have to order every week. Yeah. The benefit is that they can. Yeah. So if everyone ordered this week, I'd have a problem. Yeah. Because it'd a crazy jump.
You probably have to jump in and cook some yourself.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I would. You know, but that's kind of where the steady increase has been good. Yeah, manageable.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, man. Like, I think from a business standpoint as well, because you've done business before as well, you probably don't notice it, but you're able to manage issues a lot better, I reckon.
Yeah.
I know I am, like, being, you know, with real estate being like, I think it was my third business, I think, when I got into real estate. But like, I think like when you have these things that come up with business, like, oh, this person has an audit, or there used to be, like, back in the day when I first started a business, I used to have this anxiety and stress, and I would just be like, oh my God, what's going to happen, blah, blah, blah. But now you're just like, oh, you just got to fix this, you know? So there's no real anxiousness connected to it. I don't know if you're the same, but I sort of feel that way now. I'm a little bit older and a bit more seasoned.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the thing is, like, especially with feedback, is I actually prefer the bad feedback, because the good feedback I can't really do anything with, you know. So there should always be some bad feedback, something that can be improved. It's not going to be perfect. And
can you do my workouts for me?
Yeah, but I mean,
there's my feedback.
Yeah, for sure. But I get the benefit, you know. That's the only thing. So I would give you the feedback after, you know, and then but you should do it. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of, for me, the bad feedback, although, you know, initially you're like, oh, okay, damn it, I wish I could have done that better. Now I have the opportunity to actually do that better, and that sort of, I guess, takes the anxiety away, because you can only really do your best. I think anxiety happens also when you probably didn't do your best, you know, or you overlooked something because you weren't really giving it 100%, you know.
You didn't take action, I reckon.
And that happens, you know, and then you get better at realising what's important. You know? So, the bad feedback I don't like to receive, but I like that over good feedback. Yeah. Because then I have something I can actually improve.
How do you go through, have you had any complaints yet?
Yeah.
How do you go managing them?
Well, I guess, you know, if this is a complaint that I can actually solve, or it was definitely something I've done wrong, then the first thing is to take the blame for it, you know, and make sure the customer knows that, you know, it's not something we want to do. You know, one was like, we had an issue with the label. One of the labels had that it was chicken breast. 1 week we cooked chicken thighs, so that's a big issue.
Is it? Yeah. With calories, or
with calories, but also some people just don't like chicken thighs.
Oh, really?
It's different texture.
Is it? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, different texture, more fatty.
Is it? Yeah.
And so that was a genuine complaint. Yeah. So that I was pretty upset about, because there was a bit of a miscommunication on the kitchen end. And what was ordered for that meal.
So easy though, for that to happen.
But I mean, that's the thing. So that was our fault. And not only that, it's kind of borderline false advertising, you know, because it should be chicken breast. So man, we do get it, and but that's something I can easily fix. So but I mean, it might be like one of your meals, you asked for no broccoli, and in one of the meals I had broccoli. So I have to go, I'm sorry about that, man, and we make sure we don't do that again. So there's things like that happen, and we just try to make sure that the customer's right, there wasn't any harm done, because if you're allergic and there's something worse.
That's true, actually, you're playing in a bit of a tough space there.
I'd prefer the money's sort of secondary to the seriousness of what the issue is, you know what I mean? So and you have to prioritize that in the way you think and handle it.
For sure. And I think the thing I like about working with you, man, and that's like, even if you do stuff things up, like, I don't know, my personality is like, whatever, you know, like that's just how I am. I'm just like, I've got a business, and if I was selling your house, I would want you to be like that to me, and I would be like that to you regardless. If you stuffed up, I stuffed up, there's no point in me having a crack at you. It's like, hey man, what can we figure out about this, you know? But I've found that as I've gone on with business, if it gets really, really busy and I get a complaint, sometimes like I really have to practice like emotional intelligence when someone complains about something, particularly if it's not something that we can control. That's why I just asked you about like complaints, just because I'm interested.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, you know, if you own a business, you're really under the pump and it, you know, everything's going wrong on one day, and then just that one person tips you over the edge, and you're just like, especially if they're quite rude about it as well, you know, and it's not quite your fault, or it's something so minute. That's why I asked about it, because I had one the other day where someone had complained about something that it wasn't our fault, but we needed to take responsibility. Do you know what I mean? One of those situations. So I was like, yeah, look, completely understand. This doesn't usually happen. I'll fix it. And they just kept going, you know, and I'm like, it's all good. And they wanted me to take, they wanted me to admit that it was our fault. You know, I'm like, it's not our fault, but I'll be responsible and I'll fix it, sort of thing. So yeah. Do you ever have that in life? Like when you're under the pump and then someone just tips you over the edge? Because you come across as someone who's quite emotionally intelligent, you're quite calm, and you know, nothing really gets under your skin. That's just the vibe I get.
Yeah, I think, I definitely try to not let things get to me. I think a lot of it is also just life experience, you know, because I mean, one thing I think that benefited me a lot was I traveled a lot.
Yeah.
I saw poverty, extreme poverty. And if you take those things to heart, there's not much else that's going to get worse than that.
Yeah.
So, you know, if I'm dealing with someone who's complaining about, I don't know, maybe bag was tied up wrong or whatever, you know, too tight, or I'll go, yeah, okay. Yeah. No worries, sorry about that. You know, it's kind of, and then, you know, we've like Darwin barbers, for example, you know, we've got over 30 barbers that we look after as well. And it's pretty much, there's not a day that goes by that there's not an issue of some sort. And yeah, I mean, a lot doesn't really bother me because I just compare it to what I've seen, you know, and I'm blessed to have to deal with this issue.
Yeah, you come from
in
a space
of air-conditioned room and on a nice gaming chair, and you know.
Yeah, being grateful.
Okay, yeah. So I think that's kind of what helps me a lot, and just because I've experienced that.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen it and taken it to heart.
Yeah.
And so that, I believe that helps dealing with high pressure sort of and emotional issues.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
That was a bit of a personal thing for me, but yeah, so where do you see sort of STEDI going, man? Like obviously you're supplying a lot of the fitness industry. Like I think you've done a real good job just getting to a point where it's like almost organic marketing. Like people just, because they like you, they'll just tag you in something and say, hey, I've got my new STEDI Meals, and all of a sudden you're in front of their audience and stuff like that. So you've done so well at just getting your name out there. Like even random people I speak to now know STEDI. Yeah. And I'm like, how do you know Andrew? And like, oh, I don't know Andrew. I just saw it on this person's page. I was like, oh, okay, you know. So where do you sort of see this going, man? Have you got like any, I guess, short to long term goals or?
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely the 2,000 meals a week is for the year, but then I guess that will depend. Like, so once that we achieve that, then I guess it's kind of like what is from there? What does the logistical side look like? Because for me, it's hard to imagine.
Yeah.
Because once again, it's all new still. So even next week's going to be a new thing for me. So yeah, I think 2,000 meals is the goal, with the same quality, the same freshness, the same taste. The next thing we're bringing out is the breakfast options, the bacon and eggs, omelette. We've got like another bean dish for breakfast. So like all of these things add another cog in the logistical side of things that I have to understand.
Yeah.
And then it's just then, okay, well, what's the solution then? You know, so yeah, I think it can do very well based on the problem that it fixes.
Yeah.
And with the marketing side of things, usually when I start a business, it's kind of, you're not trying to make money. You're trying to first test to see if people actually want your product. And then from there, now it's actually just getting more of that, duplicating that.
Yeah.
So you know, I think the reason why a lot of people have seen it or heard about it is because all the money goes into that very thing.
Yeah.
Trying to get it out there. I don't take any money out. I just put it all back in.
Yeah.
It might be marketing, it might be giveaways, it might be whatever it is. And then if the product's good, then when they see it, the reaction will be good. So I think they need to sort of work together.
Yeah.
You know? So the money goes into just getting it out there and making sure the product's good.
Yeah, I think like food too is like it's so consistent in people's lives as well. So because it's so influential in their day, it's like whatever percentage of their day, they always think, well, no, I'm always thinking about my next meal. You're sort of in everyone's life all the time, you know, so like even when I'm eating a steady meal, which is going to sound weird, I'm sort of thinking of it. I know that seems weird, but I'm like,
I never thought about it like that.
But it is a bit like you're you've like, let's say you're ordering 500 meals, that any 500 times a week or whatever, there's a person sitting down eating, you know, anyway, it's a bit weird. But,
should put my photo on there as well.
Yeah, something aspired to be. Yeah, but like it is really like, I mean, impactful on people's lives, you know, like I know since being on your meals and things like that, like I've found it a lot easier to stay on track because I can tweak little things here and there, like with experimenting with a few other meals and stuff, and it doesn't feel like, I don't know, it just doesn't feel like a like I've tried all other meals, like I'm not going to call anyone out, but I've tried some other meals and it just doesn't feel like food. It feels like yours sort of feel like my mum made it, you know, like I'm like, oh, this is nice, hey, you know, like mum's cooking, I'm like, oh, this is good, you know, so yeah, I think that's that's probably one of the things. I think it is just why it's gone so well so far, that you've just got that product right, you know. What about the connection to the fitness industry? So obviously, if people don't know Andrew's background, you're a gym owner, you're a successful bodybuilder, you're always in shape, like always. Every time I see you, you are in shape. So, and the good thing about, you know, people being in shape, it shows your discipline, you know, you don't even have to say it, it just shows it, which is cool. So like, what about the connection from fitness to meals? Because we've sort of spoken about that and how you want to connect the two. Have you got any ideas that are sort of floating around in your head on how you might connect the two?
Yeah, I do. So one idea is that once I get the more breakfast options, then I can actually potentially do like a nutritional plan package. So let's say, for example, you go to STEDImeals.com, you'll put your details in a calorie calculator that will tell you how many calories you need to eat for this goal. If you want to lose weight, this is your height, age, how many times you're going to do any form of exercise. Let's say it says, you know, 2,000 calories is your goal calorie range. Then you should be able to go onto the plans on the website and get the 2,000 calorie package. And so that's going to be 2,000 calories a day.
So cool.
And now you've got your whole week's worth of meals already sorted. You don't have to cook. You're going to be eating to a goal. And so that's one idea I have. And then the next thing would be, I want to create almost like an app, but like a platform or a hub where I can actually get other trainers to come in and offer their programs to connect with the meals.
Nice, yeah, I like that.
So it's kind of like, and I won't charge them or anything, I just bring them on board. They can actually promote their own business through my app. And I'm promoting them while also promoting the lifestyle that the meals will help with. And so that's kind of another idea that I had. And I've got a few trainers that I've spoken to about it and they're interested. Because they can charge for the program if they want. But they can also point to their stuff. And then I can just be more of like a hub for health and fitness. And the meals are going to be a big part of that, you know. And they don't even have to recommend the meals, you know. It's just going to be something that we can offer.
Yeah, that's cool, man. The other thing I was thinking about the other day, which I didn't say to you because we were in a bit of a rush, but I thought it would be so cool if, I like the calorie counter side. I think that is so much value and would make me use the app or use the website and be able to connect that. I like the planning side of it, but I think if you can nail the community side of it, that's the thing that's going to make it go next level. It's sort of like how Facebook and Instagram work, right? People are trying to connect with other people. So like the way we run it in our business, right? I don't know whether this seems crazy, but obviously you put your calories into like MyFitnessPal or whatever. In our business, we put our numbers in, so what commission we're writing, and there's a leaderboard. You know, so there's a leaderboard of the top 10 agents in the company or whatever, and who's writing the most, who's doing the most phone calls, all that sort of stuff. So what would be cool is if you sort of submitted to this leaderboard, and every time you enter calories in, how consistent you can be over like a certain amount of time. Depends, like it might be a calorie deficit, it might be a calorie surplus, it might be whatever your goals are, and that goes towards certain points and you go on the leaderboard. And there's also like a feed, like a page where you can go on and speak to other fitness people and, hey, I'm having trouble with this, or blah, 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 like a community where like, it's almost like Facebook, you know, because like with our database, that's what we use just for real estate agents, right? And it actually is really cool because, you know, like we might run into like an issue, it's totally different industries, but I was at a listing presentation and I got beaten on my fee, or I got beaten on marketing or something like that, and you can go in and post about it. So it might be, oh, you know, like I was going so well for 2 months and I went out and I had like 15 ice creams. Like, and post about it, and then people connect and tell them about their experiences, and it becomes like this fitness community where people just connect, and you can see how long they've been eating STEDI, how they go with their what their goals are, and like share it with everybody. You know, you can almost go on like their you know what I mean? Like,
like a profile almost, and okay.
I thought that would just be so cool, you know?
Man, that's actually something that would be good for the community, because, you know, and that's probably something that I can actually help with, because I have a lot of experience in that. And then with same thing with the trainer idea, get the trainers involved, they're available.
They can plug in, pay a subscription to the app, and they can give people online coaching. It's like a community of people. You know.
So that's it's harder. I think it's hard because, you know, I had another idea for an app, which is it's actually, the app is like it's a Christian app. The idea would be you start off, let's say you start off with a character and like your avatar, and they're skinny and got rags on. And as you read more Bible verses and do memorization, whatever activities are in there, your character starts to grow, and you can get armor on it and stuff like this. So something similar with the food, you know, you have an avatar almost, and as you hit your goals, so like your goal is, you know, 2,000 calories, that day you hit it, your avatar starts to change, or like
it's like a dashboard. Do you know what I mean? But other people can see it.
So it's so it's accountability as well. That's could work.
So you see, and people like real honest with each other, like a community, or like, you know, there's people who are really into it, are competing, you know, and you could almost have a reward quarterly, who does the most. You could have like a reward for someone, like it could be a community award where they reached out to someone and helped somebody, especially for like newcomers in the gym and stuff. Like even myself, like I'm not the most fittest person out there, but sometimes it is a bit intimidating going to the gym, especially like the world gym sometimes we go to. There's like bloody monsters everywhere, you know. Some people, like, especially like might be a young female or something going into the gym, that's like quite, but if they're on there and, you know, this really, I don't know, shredded lady who's been doing gym and she's super confident, comments on their stuff, they're like, oh, they all of a sudden feel this level of confidence, and they feel, you know, and you can only do that by ordering the meals and being on the app, and, you know, you become part of this community. So it's not just the meals they're getting value from, they're getting value from this, you're connecting people, you know, it's like this social community. I thought that would just be cool.
Well, that would definitely also work with the other, you know, that as a combination of those things, where you've got the trainers, you've got the community, you've got the information, the calories and everything as well. That could definitely work.
Because it'd be cool if you put the trainers in there as well. Because imagine if I was on there and I was picking a trainer and you were on there and I saw your cals and I saw like 2 years of calorie counting, like consistency, I would be like, that's the guy I want. And as a trainer, you get a certain level, so you get a certain status if you, do you know what I mean? Or you might have, and then it just becomes a reason, because it's just about eyeballs, right? So like you have a reason for personal trainers to be there, you have a reason for your consumer to be there, you know what I mean? Like it just, I don't know, there's just nothing really out there like that.
That's, seems
cool, man.
Seems like a good idea. I think it's, do you know anyone that can build something like that?
Well, Arjun's brother's a software developer, or Nathan and Arjun's brother, so maybe hit him up after that. But I just thought there must be something that you can white label, or something that's out there that's like a community app or something like that.
For sure.
Because I think that like that calorie counter thing is like is like a black and white thing. It'd be so good to keep yourself accountable, you know? Start falling off the wagon a little bit.
Well, they're definitely the accountability, you know, and I think a lot of people starting off especially, because that's what you notice as you progress, and you know, if you have been doing it a long time, I guess now the only opportunity there is to help other people, you know, because you've sort of already done it and you've got a routine set up, and I mean, even probably to start with, I could set up a Facebook group or something.
So you know, even a Facebook group would be cool.
Just the feedback and run challenges in there, you know, like, all right, let's see how we go. Who wants to do a challenge? That's cool. It's a consistency of nutrition challenge.
Love that.
So that could be something I could actually start with, sort of like a pilot of what it would be like in the end. A community sort of thing. That's a good idea, man.
Or even like a challenge with like this is a question I'm about to ask you about like snacks under 500 or snacks under 250 calories, go. And best 5 snacks under 250 calories on the run, like competition, and everyone votes for it. That would be cool. Because like you would have heaps of snacks that you can just like, let's say you're on the run, boom, I'll quickly eat that because I know that's this many calories. Like, have you got any like maybe your top 3 or something that if you're trying to keep your calorie conscious, is there anything that you sort of go to? Like I know you said to me, these type of drinks are something you look at, the zero sugar drinks.
Yeah, for sure. Well, because that hits like you know, you sort of curb cravings with it. Yeah. And there's low calories, you know. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, protein bars are pretty good for on the go. So I actually do use a lot of those because even with the meals, like I'll usually hit 2 of the STEDI meals a day, and then I'll supplement the rest with like a protein shake, and then I might actually have you know, like a protein bar on the go. Yeah. And then sometimes it is like a block of chocolate or something, you know. But
but it's cool. You know what I like about you, man? You admit that stuff. There's a lot of people out there that are like super shredded, like, and maybe they got genetics on their side or whatever. They don't admit it. I like that you do it. You're like, nah, I was smacking a block of chocolate.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, I told you. That's
I love that because it's real, you know.
Yeah, but it's possible also, you know. Yeah. And you know, the thing that I try to get across for people when it comes to, you know, being shredded and all this, for example, or getting big, and is, you know, I wouldn't say I'm big, but from where I started, that is the thing that's amazing. Yeah. So it's sort of for me, I'm not saying I'm big. I'm just saying, look, I was here and then I went to here, and then if you applied the same thing to you, you might even, you know, there's some 16-year-olds in America. They're literally just absolute beasts. Yeah. So they're not trying to get to me. No. But if you applied the same thing, where would that take you? Yeah. And that's kind of the main thing. So you have to take out, you know, what they did, and, you know, because there's so many factors that you can't really measure. Yeah. And just go, well, what can you do? And it, you know, it starts with being consistent. Yeah. And then you know, you have to actually work at what the goal is, you know. Yeah. So whether it's training or anything like that, it's that has to be consistent. Yeah, for sure. You know, so those I guess it's those little things that pull people down, which is they're constantly comparing themselves to other people. That's true. And the comparison is not really a fair comparison. No, it's not. Because there's guys that, you know, never trained once and they're bigger than me already. Yeah. So really, if I compare that, I go, well, what was the point? I just got to entry level over here. Yeah, like intermediate. So I don't even do that. I just go, man, you know what? Yeah. When I first started, I was 60 kilos. People thought I was sick. Yeah. And in 4 years, I was able to do this, and now I can maintain it. And so that is what I'm offering. Yeah. I know how to do that. And so we apply similar principles to where someone else is. Yeah. And it might be up or down, we don't know, you know? Yeah. So. No, for sure. Yeah, I think, man, with you, like a lot of people would probably aspire to your type of physique. I think like where it's like jacked, but not too jacked. Like you take your shirt off, you're like, oh, you're like, far out, you know? But not to the point where you're like, oh my God, that guy's like, man, he must be on the gear or something. Like you've just got that nice, natural, like maybe like what would you be, like a classic physique or something like that? Maybe like these days probably less.
Probably not, but back when we were doing it, probably back then. But which is cool. But the thing I like, you always say, when I chat to you about it, you just go, man, I'm just consistent, you know, like I just don't really do anything too crazy. I don't have the best gym session every time I go, but I go to the gym, you know. I don't always have the best meal, but I eat what I'm meant to be eating, you know, like all that. But I think the good thing about you now is you've relaxed into like a normal person a little bit, because I remember when you were talking to me about your journey, you were like calorie deficit or just like hit like to the number for 2 years or whatever it was before you competed, which is like crazy discipline. Yeah. You sort of got that, you preach this lifestyle where no, you can enjoy the gym and eat the foods that you like. You just need to know how to do it, you know? And it's the thing I really like about you, man. So let's get into some fitness questions, man. So what are you training these days? Like what sort of splits and stuff do you do? You said you were sort of doing this different thing. Were you doing like all body sort of stuff? Or? Yeah, I'm just splitting it up now, probably the last 2 weeks. Yeah. So now I just do a push-pull legs. Yeah. And then mainly because the recovery. Yeah. If I just hit, like I used to just do one body group a day. Yeah. If I do that now, and to a high intensity, I'm sore for like 3 days. Yeah. You know? So I'm just giving this a go. Yeah. And the idea is it's kind of less stress on a specific muscle group. Yeah. Yeah. And I can do that
more frequently now.
Yeah.
And so that's the idea behind a push-pull legs.
Yeah.
So far so good, but then obviously you see, something else to measure is like your strength. Does that drop off because you're not spending so much time focusing on it? So yeah, we'll figure that out.
Especially like fatiguing and things like that in certain muscle groups.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely less fatigue now because if you compare what I was doing before, which would be say 5 to 6 exercises on one muscle group, so like chest for example, you're going to fatigue. Probably halfway through.
Yeah.
So the rest is just kind of push and fatigue.
Yeah.
Now I might do 2, maybe 3 max exercises on one muscle group. Then I would do 2 or 3 on another muscle group for a push. So it's kind of spreading the load a bit with that fatigue as well.
Yeah.
So just at the time where my muscle would normally be fatigued, I'm actually focusing on something else now. That's the idea behind it.
Yeah.
And so far it's good. It's better for recovery so far.
Yeah.
Not as sore, but yeah, I think the other measurement will be the strength. Do I maintain the strength?
Yeah.
Or does that drop a bit? And then I have to weigh it up.
Yeah, gotcha.
Because I can do it the other way.
Yeah.
It's just, I think as you get older, your recovery is not as good.
Yeah. Yeah. No, so true. What about your vitamins and things like that, man? What do you take, like supplement-wise?
Not much, man. Yeah. I don't really take
Get it all
much.
from food.
I try to get it all from food. Like I used to, especially when I was competing, I'd be on like a multivitamin, fish oil, vitamin C, digestive enzymes, creatine, L-carnitine, and that would be like a daily stack.
Like a stack, yeah.
Daily stack.
Hectic, yeah.
And
were you very bloated?
No.
Creatine used to bloat me, hey?
No.
Well, not bloat me, but I'll just hold like maybe heaps of water. I'd be real fluffy.
Yeah, I didn't really react, I guess, much to the creatine. I definitely felt the energy. Yeah. So now I'm not really on anything. Pre-workout. I'll still hit pre-workout.
Do you?
Yeah. Because for me, it's kind of like part of the routine.
Yeah.
So when I wake up, I'll make a pre-workout drink for the gym. Yeah. And I'm just sipping on it. I'm not really like even while I'm training, I'm just sipping on it. I'm not really getting
part
it.
of it. Yeah.
But I have had days where I'll have a pre-workout just to focus on work.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of work to do. I've got to do something really that needs focus.
Yeah.
Just get a pre-workout going,
Yeah, these people are on that. Hey, I just like, I don't know, it just tips me over my caffeine barrier, I think. Like, I just go like, and I just have like this crash. I think maybe it's just because you've been working out for so long that you probably don't even notice it. You're just like, oh, well.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've had actually cut it off as well. Sometimes when I feel like maybe I'm using it a bit too much, I'll just go full cold turkey on all caffeine for a bit.
Yeah.
And that, it's hard. You get headaches, everything.
Yeah.
But then when you do have caffeine again, you actually react to it.
Yeah. Seriously.
So you can sort of see that, but but you have a lot of coffee, right?
Yeah, I was, man. I think back when we were talking a while ago, I was having like 6 coffees a day or something like that, and it was just because I was running so fast at work. I still run fast, but I've really just curbed it a little bit. But I think caffeine's one of those things, especially for people who are like to do something extreme. Like I see you as an extreme person. Like you could pull the lever and get really extreme with something, and you almost have to hold that part back of yourself because you're such a normally disciplined person. So with work, for me, it's like an addiction. It's like a drug. I love it. So coffee is like, I can keep going for another couple of hours. I'm good. And I start to like slow down. I'm like, boom. I'm just like 7 at night. Bam. Just like, So that was really unhealthy. But I'm now at a point now where I make brekkie for the kids in the morning. I have my coffee there with Hannah, and I just hydrate, and then I usually have a coffee after the gym, and then I'm done.
Okay.
Now I'm at that point, which is good. And if I have pre-workout, I can't sleep. It's like
even if you have it in the morning.
Yeah, I can't even but the gym session I have is like unbelievable.
Yeah, so that's kind of, I mean,
like a payoff,
One guy who I follow on like Instagram and that, Alex Hormozi.
Yeah, I know him. Yeah.
And,
he's a beast.
He would say, sometimes you just need to lock yourself in the room, get the pre-workout or the caffeine going, and just hit it, and worry about everything, the after effects later.
Just gotta get it done.
And I mean, that's kind of like a gym session, but with the pre-workout, I've built that sort of in my routine. So it's kind of just, when I wake up and I'll just make the pre-workout and I'm ready everything's sort of ticked along the way to get to the gym. My session's good.
Yeah. It's like a psychological thing too, like hitting all your...
It's probably more psychological now
Yeah.
because it probably doesn't really even hit me anyway. It's more psychological, and even when I did break away from caffeine, cold turkey, I was supplementing it with something else, like a branched chain amino acids or something. But just to have that as part of my routine to get to the gym.
Smoking, don't you reckon?
100%.
Same thing with smoking. People like that.
Yeah, and I think that's probably similar. A lot of the people is actually just the habit of the hands, the getting it out, sitting outside on a crate or whatever,
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
The whole routine is just, for them, it might be the way that they release or relax or,
Yeah.
So for me, that's just how I've done it for the gym.
Yeah, cool. Awesome, man. So one more thing I want to share with the viewers before we go. It was just a good bit of advice that you gave me, man, when we were having a gym session, and I was talking about foods and how some foods have these things in it, some foods have that. Oh, this isn't good for you, and there's all this noise like in the fitness industry. Don't do this and don't do that, blah, blah, blah. And you said something really good to me, man, that stuck with me. Okay. And you said to me, you have to find your line, what you can accept. Yeah. What's your line? Don't worry about everybody else's line. What's your line? Yeah. Okay, so if drinking water out of a tap, you're okay with that, that's your line. That's your line. If you want a purifier or whatever, that's your line. Like, just figure out what you're happy with and just stick to that. And you can always tweak it as you go, but just find your line. Don't worry about everybody else's. Just find what works for you and stick to that. That stuck with me, man. Like, find your line. I think that's like such a good bit of advice if you're getting a lot of noise, like because I feel that sometimes, like I should be eating this, or you watch a video and there's this thing happening and you're just like, holy crap, and it seems legit. So you're just like, where's my line? Okay, this is where I'm going to live my life. I know this is messed up, but I'm just going to stick to this line because it works for me. I think it's like a good bit of advice.
Yeah, man. And it's only going to get noisier. Yeah. Because especially with the day and age we're in with the social media and the access to noise itself, we're literally carrying noise around with us.
So true, yeah.
Because, I mean, pretty much you have to live in a cave and drink waters from the glaciers and, only eat, pure ox that's just grown outside, and drink the goat milk.
Yeah.
And then you have to just go backwards from there. Well, okay, I'm not in the glaciers, so I can't drink that water. What water can I drink? And apply that in everything,
Yeah.
And then we always can make steps to make things better, which is similar to what we're doing with the meals. We started with the base thing to just get something that tastes good, that people can eat, that people want. And now I want to refine everything. How can I make it better? And man, I'm glad that did something for you. And
it was good, man. Really stuck with me when you said that. I was like, I fully left the gym there and just like gave me real clarity around some of the stuff I was thinking. I was like, I'm not going to eat this, I'm going to eat that, I'm only going to eat this. And you're like, just simplify and just find your line. Yeah, look, I'm not happy with that, but I'm content where I can do it. It's okay. But anyway, it's been awesome to have you on here, man. Thanks for coming on. Hopefully I've added some value for you as well, so you can maybe use the content to push to your followers as well, man. And if you need to get a hold of Andrew, what's the best place to contact you?
For me, probably just my Facebook or Instagram. Andrew McDevitt. For the meals, STEDI Meals. And and I'm always happy to help. You don't have to be buying meals or anything. Or if you see me at the gym, just yell out.
Actually that is, if you are thinking about getting into the gym, you're probably one of the most humble people to talk to about the gym. You have no ego whatsoever, and you're actually a really giving person. So if you're feeling nervous about the gym or getting fit or anything, you're a really good person to talk to, man. So thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you, man.
Cheers, mate.